The following podcast is intended for mature audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Nobody's listening, no. Nobody's listening, no. Nobody wants to hear them speak. Nobody's listening, no. Nobody's listening. Nobody wants to hear them speak. Nobody wants to hear them speak. Nobody wants to hear them speak.
Thank you for downloading, streaming, or however it is that you are listening to the Not Listening Podcast. It's the Not Listening Podcast. Not Listening Podcast.
I thought you were going to do that to
Not
the
Listening
tune of Star Spangled Banner there.
What,
The
how's that?
Not Listening Podcast.
The Not Listening Podcast.
No, you don't do it as well.
No.
You can tell he's had a beer, can't you?
I've had one of your homebrews, and now I'm having a shandy. Welcome along, everybody. It's a very, 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 very exciting, special, unbelievably interesting, and did I mention exciting?
Don't know, I wasn't listening.
Maybe special episode, because it is episode 200.
Roughly.
Yeah.
Well, it's probably we've done probably more.
Yeah. And also, of Not Listening Podcast, it's still under 100. And even the
Just keep
Vodcast
changing the
podcast,
name.
yeah. I
That's
mean,
true. All right, so it's our 200th official episode with Oddcast and Not Listening put together.
and what the fuck does Billy know?
No, Oddcast.
No,
No, was
always
that a different one?
happening.
Oh, okay.
Oddcast had to be started. So yeah, so be prepared. Be prepared. You are going to experience something like never before.
Be prepared, because we're not.
Are you ready? This is going to be the best episode ever. Let's go!
That's number 200.
Hashtag not listening.
Yeah, so episode 200. Got anything planned?
No.
Ash?
No.
You didn't even
I've got
introduce
Chris.
us. You know, you're really losing your touch, because
I'll tell
normally
you
you do
what.
the I'm Adam,
Yeah.
he's Ash, I'm Will. You're fucking losing it, dude.
I do feel a little bit bad, actually. Yeah, let's start again. Right. I'm Adam. You're...
Ash.
And you're...
Will.
Happy now?
Yeah.
You give it a take, yeah, whatever. Yeah, well, that'll do. Yeah, so welcome along to episode 200, everybody. So, 200 episodes in. Like we said, it's roughly because...
You think we'd be slicker by now, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I'm really rusty. We haven't recorded since July. Not
Yeah.
that anyone's noticed, because we record so much in advance.
I'd like to record stuff.
I know.
I've never recorded anything.
It's all this radio experience you're getting that's really...
I'm getting worse.
you're rubbish.
I can't talk. I feel like I've got a blocked up nose. I'm trying to drink in front of the mic. I'm doing everything I'm not supposed to do on the radio.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. That when I'm on the radio, I'm like, right, I've got to do this. I can't have a drink whilst I'm recording. I've got to pronounce my words.
The thing is, I don't mind some of this stuff, but would you at least put some clothes on?
I never
He's
wear.
got headphones on.
I never wear clothes.
Oh, good. His ears are decently covered.
I never wear clothes. That's why Emily hasn't been on the show for 3 weeks on the Really Real show. But yeah, so 200 episodes in. Like I said, it's a 200th episode, but we have had like 0.5 episodes.
Yeah.
And there were oddcasts, and so it's kind of gone over 200, but officially 200.
This will do.
Yes.
Well,
So-
as numbering goes.
A number and landmark, but it's been like 4 years.
I know.
It's, like with oddcast and Not Listening, it's the same show.
Wow.
It's been
I didn't
4
have
years.
children when we started. I've got a
Me
3.5-year-old child.
Neither did Ash.
I thought you were going to say you got 3.5. It's just always 1.5. Extra 1.5 come
We
from.
don't talk about the half child.
3 kids and Warwick Davis.
It's a mog. And Spaceballs fans will get that one. Thank you.
We talk about Spaceballs a lot.
I do.
You should do it. It's a good show.
Any
Good show.
Good
film.
show. Oh yeah,
Well,
so you're
do
clearly
you-
an aficionado.
Do you want to take over today and run the show, and I'll just sit here drinking?
No, I really can't be asked.
Yeah, there have been quite a few Mel Brooks sort of...
Well, that's because Will's a big Mel Brooks fan, really, with Blazing Saddles, Spaceballs.
That's
That's
about it, really.
That's anything else?
I enjoyed The Producers. I think that was one of his.
Oh, yeah.
There was Young Frankenstein, which was not all that. And he did lots of other things, but really it was Spaceballs and Blazing
Yeah.
Saddles for me.
Those two big ones.
Yeah.
Men in Tights. Rob did Men in Tights. That's a good, funny one.
It was actually, yes. It was the only that one line. Why should we follow you? Because unlike some Robin Hoods, I can speak with an English accent.
Thing is, that's
delightful.
That's Carrie Elwes, isn't it? The guy for the Princess Bride.
Oh, of course it is. Yes, I'd forgotten.
So it's like he's just literally playing the same character. I love the Princess Bride. I need to go back and watch it.
My name is I can't even do it. Inigo Montoya or something like that. Yeah.
Inigo Montoya.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going to do a
I think
BBC
you
Bang
do.
thing. My name is Cornelia. I need tippy.
It was actually pretty close.
Right, so episode 200.
Yeah.
Things planned, nothing. Why? Because we hadn't had time and we couldn't be bothered.
So
3
what
months.
we're actually doing on this episode is reaching back to some of our earlier episodes where what we did was just sit round a table, get drunk and talk shit and turn it into an unnecessarily long episode. So welcome aboard, guys.
Yeah. If you want to turn off now, I don't really care.
The only thing we can...
you've listened this far in, which means we got the download hit. Thank you very much. You are now a statistic of the Not Listening podcast.
I think the only thing we'll find is actually improved.
Statistic.
Certainly not the talking over each other bit. The only thing we'll find as improved is the general sound quality because we spent a bit of money on kit. But beyond that,
I might fuck this sound up on purpose just to make it sound terrible. God, remember when it sounded like we were talking through tin cans?
just blend
We
in
were.
blend in the sound of a lawnmower or something in the background just for the entire duration.
So, can you guys remember the first episode you were on?
I can't remember the end of it.
Right, okay, so can you explain what episode you were on? Can you remember at all what number it was?
It was, I don't know if it was 21 was my first one, but it was one of the more memorable. You basically said, do you want to do a podcast? Bill keeps letting me down. And I said, what's a podcast? He said, it's like just kind of a radio show type thingy that we record. And I went, yeah, all right. But then I was all nervous, so I decided I had to get really, really drunk to be able to record. And I sat there with a box of wine. And I did quite a lot of it before we started recording. And we were recording all sorts of shit back then, weren't we? Because there was that weird Rude Radio show as well.
Yes!
That was bizarre.
What was that? I don't remember that.
It was like an internet radio show thing, and you'd been contacted off the back of the strength of What the Fuck Does Billy Know, which is hilarious, really, when you look back, saying,
so true.
oh, we really love your work, would you like to do a slot on the radio? And that radio show must have been piss poor, because you think what the sound quality we were producing with, it was done over this, like, free microphone that comes with the cheapest of laptops style of arrangement.
Yeah, the dick mic.
Yeah, I mean, basically, tell you what, well, let's do a simulation of this. If you two can talk, and I'll simulate the rest of it. So
Okay, right, so this is a reenactment of episodes before when
Yeah.
Billy was here.
Yeah.
Right. Bill, the other day I was talking to somebody. and the dolphin, it was like the other day. It was going on.
I used to be a dolphin.
And I said, put that down! It's never going to fit in there.
Our noise generator seemed to run out of breath.
Oh, it stopped at that point. Okay, so...
I thought it was pretty good for one lungful.
Yeah, that was pretty good. You got big lungs, mate. So,
Did you notice how I didn't get to talk? Because he was just yabbering through
Recreating
the
some of your first episodes.
Yes.
so episode 21 of the Oddcast podcast. That
Yeah.
was odd with capital odd and capital pod.
Yeah.
Because remember, I got contacted by somebody that said you can't call it Oddcast podcast. 'cause
They were
that's-
called Oddcast, weren't
Yeah,
they?
and they were like, you can't call it. I was like,
And you got,
I have no idea who you are, and I don't care.
yeah. And
So-
also, I didn't Google the name to see if it was being
No.
used, because it turned out there were at least 3 other podcasts also using
And
it.
what I've noticed with Oddcast podcast is that whenever someone wants to start a podcast, they go, what should we call it? Let's call it the Oddcast podcast.
Or just the Oddcast.
Yeah, and then we're just like, ugh.
Which is basically what you did, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so just change it to not listening. And no one has called this podcast not listening. Right, episode 21, I've just found it.
Yep.
It is, this is what I wrote up in it. In this episode, Adam is joined by fill-in co-host. Is that correct grammar? Fill-in co-host?
No, that'd be fine.
Yeah, that's right. Will, whilst Billy is on hiatus. See, I didn't even...
Hiatus?
Hiatus?
I
That's a long
oh
word for
my.
you.
I thought Billy was coming back.
Yeah.
He obviously didn't. The two discuss drinking far too much red wine to make sense.
Yes.
Yep. Hugh Laurie's English accent turning into an American accent sounding English.
I'd
So
like
was that when
to
you first started House?
say, no, House have been around for a while, but I do remember just going, oh, these fucking Americans, they don't realise he played George in Blackadder. Adam, put some Blackadder on.
Hulk Hogan's divorce proceedings,
Really, that would have been you that started that conversation, I tell you.
Will's drunken rants, yep,
Nothing
That's
new there.
never-
Yeah,
never
nothing's changed, yep.
an American teen comedy gets an anticipated trailer breakdown, as does a dark French thriller told backwards.
A dark French thriller, eh?
Yeah. Well, I remember that. That was the trailer from American Reunion when they come back.
Never heard of it.
Well, it's American Pie 4. And the dark French thriller told backwards was Irreversible.
Actually, someone was
Never
telling
heard
me
of it.
about
Despite having clearly seen the trailers to both, never heard of them.
Just see if I can get any of the sound, Gan. 'Cause,
Oh, no, to be honest, it's going to be piss poor.
You reckon? Right, okay. To do this, I'm going to have to move my mic. Right. So this is very unprofessional, but we are homaging unedited.
So you're going to stick your mic next to...
Hang on, where's the speaker? Where's the proper speaker? Haven't we got a
well-
little speaker thing?
I didn't bring one.
All right, so isn't that it in a box directly on that shelf? Down,
Down,
behind
down,
the laptop? Well, I'll tell you what, I know how much time you're going to spend editing this piece out.
Right,
Shall I
yeah.
sing a little song
I'm
while
not
we're waiting for
editing
the
anything.
mic?
I told you, we are homaging how podcasts begin.
Bring me sunshine in your smile. Bring me laughter all the while.
Meanwhile, I'm going to
In this world where we live, can be no. Oh, you want? Oh, it was going so smoothly and so well until then.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, for fuck's sake! This is ridiculous.
Welcome to episode... I might just hold the mic like this for the whole
smashing
show.
up my
You
house.
can hold the mic if you like, but
I need to
I
move
don't know
this
what
can.
you're right.
See, 1 point and he's done.
Look, we're homaging how we used the podcast.
It was kind of more of a reference rather than a direct recreation. I thought.
We're fucking doing it. Right, okay. So this is how episode 21 started.
So, 21 of the Oddcast podcast.
I remember that
21,
music.
is that all? 21 episodes. We are in 21 episodes. That's quite a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oddcast podcast with me, Adam, and my mate Billy.
Oh, that
How
sound
you doing, Bill?
quality is amazing.
Marvellous. I've got a bit of a change of voice, but I'm good. My balls dropped.
Where's Bill?
Hey,
Why don't you
going on
skip
here?
it right to the
Yeah,
end
what
and
is
start
going on?
slurring?
Why did that? You were slow at the beginning.
Well, there is that. I think we'd already recorded a rude radio show at the
I
point.
don't
that
even know
kicked in.
what we had done, but this is fascinating.
New ideas, so that I can say the following sentence and be utterly sure that nobody has ever said it before in the history of human communication. Hold
That
the news
is
reader's
Stephen Fry.
nose squarely, waiter, or friendly
This
milk
is a clip
will
from
countermand
Fry and Laurie, I believe.
my trousers. Perfectly ordinary words. but
You've really
never
picked a good
before
point
put
to jump in.
that precise.
So we played a clip from Fry and Laurie. Oh, because you were talking about Hugh Laurie, remember?
Yeah.
Don't forget about that.
Oh, I know that.
Right.
It's just you really jumped to a shitty
Yeah.
random point.
36 minutes in.
Oh, yes. Well, Hulk Hogan has reached a financial
Hulk Hogan.
settlement with his ex-wife Linda Valeri. Or Linda Hogan, pretty much, because they were married.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, cool.
What's with the fucking background music?
It was.
What the?
Was that all the way through?
Yeah,
Yes,
it was
apparently.
like
Was it playing in the background while you were
No, I
recording,
think I
or
had
you
it in-
stuffed it in?
Yeah, and it was just it was a perpetual loop of dun 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 dun.
I did it
dun, dun,
to mask
dun,
over the
dun.
fact that the mic was so terrible.
Yeah, it was basically just to cover some of the background hissing.
God.
As if I can get towards the
it
end.
covered everything.
Right, as if I can...
I hate you, Adam. I hate
This has been me, Adam, and my mate Will.
you. I hate you.
He's absolutely out of his face. It's brilliant. We should bring him in more often, definitely.
Nah,
Probably
I
heard him-
hate you.
terrible idea.
Okay, Will, have you got any Brian Blessed impressions you want to say goodbye to? I really want to.
Move the
Brian
mic away.
Blessed goodbye. I want you to say, Oddcast podcast. Goodbye. Something like that, yeah?
I hate you.
Can we do that? Can you do that?
No.
Oh, please do it.
I hate you.
Do it. Will, go on. Come on.
I hate you.
Do it, man. Come on. We ain't got much time. Go on. Oddcast podcast. Goodbye.
3, 2, 1.
Come on, don't drink your wine. Come on, do it, do it.
I hate you.
Do it, Will! Come on.
Gordon's alive.
See, I
I
did
hate you.
exactly what.
Now say Oddcast podcast.
Oddcast podcast.
No, in Brian Blessed's voice.
Podcast.
Say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Okay, let's never do this again.
Good night.
So you ended up just telling him what to say, and he eventually said it intermixed with "I hate."
Trouble is, I can't tell whether that was a combination of me being very drunk and slightly playful, which I'd like to hope it is, or whether that's just me being absolutely comatose.
I think
I was
you were
expecting
just
to hear
being
you
very
fall off a
drunk.
chair.
Yeah. No, we were sitting on the floor upstairs in the spare room when I had a spare room because I didn't have
Yes.
2 children.
That is very true. I remember that we were upstairs in your
And it's before you got chairs as well.
Yeah, we didn't have chairs when we
Before they
started.
were
off.
invented.
No.
I was quite drunk in it as well, Dave, if you actually listen, because I'm like, say goodbye, Buzz. Say goodbye. Okay, the podcast.
And then you drove home.
No, actually, Sarah gave me a lift
Yeah,
home.
that'd be it, yeah.
There we go. So that was your first episode.
Moving
You're
on.
Still here. Right.
Oh, then again, if we find Ash's first episode, you're going to actually struggle to find a bit where he
Well,
talks in it
exactly,
anyway.
yep.
Well, that's what I'm trying to look at.
It must have been in the late 30s.
Right.
'Cause I was there. I remember I was there for episode 42. 'cause
Yeah,
we made
which
big
was a
thing
further
about
drunken
21.
shambles, yeah.
I think that's when we invited. Did you invite Marcus for that one? Or was that
I think that was a later one. 42 was basically you're drunk.
I found it.
It was 63 we were most concerned about because it was the next multiple of 21.
I found it. Episode 34.
34.
Okay.
Don't you want a balloon?
Want a balloon?
In this episode of the Oddcast podcast, Adam and Will are joined by mate Ash.
Hey, I'm a mate.
Yeah.
I'm
Rather
not
than a temporary fill-in.
fill-in.
The three sit down to discuss such things as cutting through a tin can. Wow.
Excellent.
What the
Exciting.
No idea.
The pedantic twins.
No
Were
idea.
they
The fat controller.
Out of either the engine.
No, I think that was me.
You are a bit controlling.
Well, there is that.
Elm,
I was trying to be politically correct.
Elm Street gets revisited for trailer breakdown. Arnie talks again. Classic scary movies. Mel Gibson
It
gets
just
the
shows how
Star
much we
Wars
did
treatment.
in these episodes. How many-
About an hour.
That's
Over
now-
an hour.
No,
It's one of
some of
those-
them were closer to 2 hours.
Yeah. Spam emails, creepy clowns, and childhood fears. I've got a big picture of Pennywise.
Well, if you look at recent ones, yeah, want a balloon.
Yeah.
So, but no, you look at the recent ones, and we're trying to do like one thing and put out an episode, and then we've realised that Adam didn't actually have time to put out 2 episodes a week, so it's gone all a bit confusing. And like I say, this is an homage, so this is probably going to go on for hours,
Yes.
and I'm enjoying it.
Yes.
Well,
Well-
we'll need another can of.
Because we
Chip
are,
down memory
we are
lane.
probably going to take a break after this.
Sounds good.
I mean, like, for the rest of the year.
Oh, I thought you meant after this
Oh,
particular
yeah.
chat, so I'd go for a cigarette.
This is just like the old days.
It takes no time. It's like falling off a bike, isn't it? You know.
We used to have to pause to go and replenish our stocks of beer.
Right, this one he won't even let me play, so I don't even know when it's episode.
Oh, you know what? Shall we just give up on that?
I kind of wanted to play it, but that's fine.
Well, tell you what.
My first one, you would not be able to find me saying
Hang on.
anything.
Well, why don't we just say, right now, there's going to be a clip where Ash talks in his first episode. Doodle-doo, 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 doodle-doo.
Seamless, mate. Seamless. That was seamless. Loved it. Right, okay, I found a clip
Oh dear.
Lovely.
from episode 34, the Oddcast podcast.
Oh, I'd only done 14 without Ash then also.
Yeah, so do
2 weeks worth, because we were recording every week at that point, weren't we?
you remember this? Do you,
Hang on. Right.
14. Oh no, 14.
14
Oh,
weeks
14
worth.
weeks worth.
Yeah. Well
Yeah,
done.
not one a
Good,
day.
good
Yeah.
maths.
This
No
was,
wonder you've got
though-
the like rocket science degree.
Yeah.
This was, though, when we started recording, we thought, do you know what's better? If we just go around yours on a Sunday and record like 3 episodes.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh,
But
God, they
that was
got
like
messy.
4 or 5 hours worth
Yeah.
of recording.
Yeah, and you could tell which ones were done
Yeah.
early because they were actually quite compass mentis.
Back when we had time.
Yes.
Do you
Oh,
remember?
that was it. It was the even numbered. I can't remember if it was even or odds because we ended up doing 2 back to back, and the even numbered one would be fine, and the odd numbered one would just be a fucking mess.
So episode 34, do you remember this? It's theme tune.
Yes, Machine Gun Men. No. Oh, who was this one?
The Filthy Habits.
Ah, oh, you better put it back against the speaker. Could have just rigged up the other mic, couldn't we? Nah, it's not worth it. You'd have to do volume levelling and everything.
They're not a band anymore. They split up because of us.
Fair enough.
Well, they didn't. They were doing all right. But I remember the guy, I think his name was Bobby Smith. He actually messaged and said, sorry, Ad, but we are no longer together. But feel free to use our music.
We've had a few theme tunes over the years.
No, we've had like 2.
No, we've had at least 3.
No, we've had this one.
Yeah.
And then we had the one that Matt Frost did. Right, here we go. This is how it started.
Yes, we're back. You can't get rid of us. No matter where you are, we will always find you. Simply because we are hiding in the depths of the internet.
And under your bed.
Yes, but that's got nothing to do with this podcast.
I've been watching you. Oh, yes, I've been watching you for so long now.
You do realise that there are blokes listening?
I haven't changed ever.
You creep.
I'm a weirdo.
You might have predominantly male sort of subscribers. And
That
listeners.
doesn't stop me watching them. We've got a guest this week.
Yes. Well, let's in.
A guest. He's a guest.
I'm a guest.
You're a guest.
I love the way Adam can't remember where he's holding the mic.
I forgot to put the mic to my mouth. Okay. He's a guest. So this is how Ash was introduced to the podcast.
Let's do an intro for him. Welcome to the Oddcast Podcast UK.
Hello.
Odd Podders. There you go. Put it in again.
Yeah, beautiful.
This is Adam talking, and opposite me we have
Will.
Angry Will Man.
Angry Will.
I can't call you Angry Will because you got Angry Ginger for the last podcast of standing. And
I'm Will.
Will. No, that's another podcast.
Will.
Yeah, it's Will. W-I-W.
Oh, do you
Blimey
remember?
and the fuck. Yes. Blimey actually set up a Twitter profile for me, didn't he?
Yes.
Oddly cast Will. W-I-apostrophe-W.
Yeah, because apparently that's how I used to say your name.
And then I ran into him on the train, and he said, "Oh, now you're tweeting. Do you want the Will parody account?" I was like, "Why would I want a parody account of myself? That would be fucking weird."
He's disappeared off the face of the earth, right?
Shout out to Blimes. Let him know. Tweet him and let him know he's got a special.
He ain't on
mention
Twitter
this
no
one.
more. He gone.
Oh man,
He's gone.
He lost his Zune.
I don't know where he's gone. The tramp has left us.
Maybe he's dead.
Well, possibly. I wouldn't even know.
Huh.
Nor
Right.
would I actually really care. 'Cause he's
Right.
really my friend.
Should we get on with it then?
Anyway, yeah. So, yeah, and Ask an American. That was a reference to Ask an American. Remember?
Yes.
Angry Ginger, last podcast of standing.
Yep.
And Kia, that's it. The Mr. Know-It-All.
Oh yeah.
He was the one who used to say, "Woo."
Hello, I'm Kermit. Kia.
And we have a guest.
We do indeed.
Who are you?
I'm Ash.
Hello, Ash.
And you're an alcoholic? What is it?
He's got a cup of tea and a glass of
I
wine.
aspire to being an alky, but it doesn't quite work with the tea and wine.
Cup of tea and a glass of wine. Now that's well balanced.
It's a mixture. You should put it in together.
I forgot
What do
we were
people do? It's
drinking
like
wine
a-
at that.
like an Irish coffee.
It's
It'd be
just
like
part of the problem.
twine. It'd be twine.
It'd be like a burdock tea.
Oh, what is it with you guys and fucking burdock? You were telling me.
Fucking hell.
I'm glad to say we've stopped drinking wine with the podcast. I think that was one of the major issues we had early on.
He got a bit of what?
Yeah, because we were getting through a box at a time.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to
5 litres
skip
to a
through the
couple.
podcast, see if I can find it. Right. 40 minutes into the podcast. See
Okay.
if we can jump to any gold.
Good luck.
I don't like. I like violence.
So you don't like any Vietnam films, for example?
Give Keisha a chance.
That was an armed conflict, not a war,
I
apparently.
liked Full Metal Jacket, but I liked
Yep.
the first bit before they even turned up in Vietnam.
Good thing we haven't. Good thing we've learnt to not talk over each
What
other.
are you talking about?
Oh, sorry, I should have kept going, shouldn't I?
Right, okay, let's get right through to another bit towards the end of the show.
Obviously. And then you have the boy and the girl.
So it's very simple.
I'm talking about
Yeah.
my brother-in-law's
No names
blog.
are mentioned, just give-
Yes, we were trying to promote you, weren't we?
Yeah.
To like 3 people.
Where the kid has told the father or the mama, it says, "I'm 4, but my friend James is only 3." So then they're like, "Oh right, when is he 4?" As if to a fool, on his birthday.
You know what? This is why I don't listen to old episodes.
Yeah.
Or new ones.
Okay, that was number 34. You guys were complaining that episode 42 was a drunken one.
It was.
I think it was.
Horrendous. I can't work out if Marcus was with us on that one or not.
think
Maybe
he
he was.
was.
Yeah.
I have it on here. Do you want me to read out what it says?
Yes.
Go for it.
In this episode of the Oddcast podcast, Adam, Will and Ash, see, you're part of it now,
Yeah.
are joined by Marcus once more.
Ah, right. So that was it. So we got the so it was odds were good, evens were bad.
You do realise that the 41 actually was the first one Rita Ramnani guested on, because that was when we chatted to her about strippers versus werewolves.
Oh God, yes. And it was the wank bank comment
Yes.
Marcus came up with. It was a beauty.
So this is what it says. It says, they sit down, drinking, and making no sense as they discuss dwarves in movies.
So this dwarf thing is a recurring theme that has been going on for years.
If you're going to play out a bit of this, just skip it right to the end, towards the end of the episode, and just enjoy the chaos.
It's like-
when I say enjoy, endure. Sorry, mispronounced.
It says, going back in time for Go Back and Watch. It's a short Star Watch in more ways than one.
Warwick Davis,
Warwick
yes.
Davis, joke there. And Tom Cruise gets movie bluffed. I don't remember what movie bluff was.
I think we all made up a fact about someone, and it just got bizarrely obscure. It was like something to do with kung fu with spoons, and it just got really weird.
Oh yeah.
We were trying to come up with
yeah, we
ideas
were
for
coming up with
features,
props
weren't we?
and all that kind of stuff.
Because the
Yeah.
main problem was with the sort of hour and a half, 2 hours. Can you see how long that episode was?
I can have a
With
look.
these super length episodes, we just ran out of shit to talk about. So we kept trying to come up with these, shake up the features and do new ones. And some of I think Movie Bluff was my idea, and it was
cover up
piss
that.
poor. I would have gotten away with it if you hadn't mentioned it, right? Except for the people listening.
Episode 42. Do you ever guess? Guess how long it was. How long do you reckon it was?
Hour 45.
How long do you
I'd have
reckon
to
it was?
say an hour and 52.
Oh fuck you!
It was 1 hour and 50 minutes, 25 seconds.
Oh come on! Bearing in mind, I wonder if you'd have guessed that if you hadn't had my.
I had an hour and 50 in my mind, and it was just I can't go 50 minutes on the spot.
It also says, Brian from Garage Cast Skypes in for a quick chat.
Oh, yeah, that was bizarre. Didn't he have his daughter there, and we had to try not to swear
Not to
like
swear.
complete bastards?
Well, I've got to play this out. I've got to try and think we can find. So if I skip in a little
Oh,
bit.
just go right to the end, because that's his messiest.
I
There's
don't-
Brian.
Here's Brian.
Watching 4. What, like the Avengers?
Hammer of the Gods.
Yes.
Are you watching a film, or have you got Viking mythology just like in the house?
I can tell from my voice how drunk I am.
Okay.
That's because is he your housemaid? It's like he's just had the God of Thunder just doing stuff around the house, you know.
He's doing a vacuum.
I love the way he's just gone.
Julie and my other daughter, they went out shopping and they're on their way home. And we've been watching movies all day because it's just kind of rainy and crappy out here.
Sorry, I have to
And
check.
we decided to go down.
I have to check just for the traditional Americanisms. Has your missus and your other daughter been out at the mall?
Yes.
Well, I'm going to skip through. I'm going to skip
God,
over
I'm such a twat when I'm drunk.
towards the end. See if anything's changed. Hopefully, we'll just sound more sober. Oh no! Error loading media file could not be played. It's broken.
Oh, well, we broke tragedy.
We'll end at that one.
I think that's good. Good point to end. So we've kind of exhausted, in my opinion, our introductions to podcasting. Is this the point you put in some sort of little filler segment and then we talk about something else after?
No, I'm just going to keep going.
Oh, man.
I'm sorry, but this is homage in how we used to do it.
Oh,
We didn't
hell.
stop.
Well, I should
We
get the
kept
guitar
going.
out if we're going to go how we used to do it.
Oh, we did. You skipped
yeah.
the guitar
Yeah,
out.
they used to write little songs and all the little what are they called? Ditties.
Jingles.
That's the one.
Well, I suppose I could ask the actual question: is that did you actually think we would get this far? To 2015. Do you think we would get that? Was recorded in 2012.
I'll be honest, I have had the same level of thoughts I probably still have now, which is do it till it is no longer enjoyable or too much of a pain in the arse. And we've changed up totally because of how much of a pain in the arse it was when children came along and things.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
But no, well, if we'd said, would we be sitting round a table at Ash's house with like a half decent mixing deck and actually individual mics? Because I think at that point we were still just all trying to shout into one mic
The one
in the middle of the table.
We were trying to actually orientate ourselves around it so that we were either talking into the front or the back of it. Oh
Yeah.
no, that was the second mic, wasn't it? When we got the one that was the USB thing that was on the stage.
Yeah, I got that for, like, as a
That
Christmas
was a Christmas present. Was that
Yeah.
pre-Ash or post-Ash?
That was
post.
No, it
Yeah.
was pre-Ash.
Was it?
Yeah.
I
So,
thought
yeah,
that
you-
was the second one. I thought we had the second
Oh
one.
no, you never got the delight of the first microphone.
Oh, right, that's
then.
all right.
No, to be fair, we only recorded it like twice with that mic because
Yeah.
I got it on the Christmas and then we carried on recording
That'd be about right.
with a mic in the middle.
Yeah.
And then we've slowly got these and then we've
Yeah.
improved. So I'm just going through some of the episode titles
Yeah.
of what we used to do. This is back in when we were Oddcast Podcast. This is
Yep.
all before 100. Just read a couple here. We've got Ever Danced with a Podcast in the Pale Moonlight.
Batman reference. Love it.
The Shawshank Penguin Redemption.
I was wanking on that one, wasn't I? Because was that the Sandpaper and Penguins
No,
episode?
there was another one down there. Episode 22. It
was episode 22.
Sandpaper and Penguins.
I was as drunk as episode 21 on that one because I was just talking about it was Happy Feet or something, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
and
I was
Human
talking about-
Centipede.
Yeah, I was
Ooh.
basically for some reason I said about sitting in the cinema watching Happy Feet masturbating using sandpaper. I seem to have
As you
a
do.
memory of of talking about that.
I just remembered when I joined, I had not listened to the podcast at all.
No, I don't think anyone had.
It's for the best, yeah.
and I've only listened to about 15 since.
I mean,
I only started listening to the podcast around sort of episode 50 or so, and I just went, I'm not going to get any better unless I actually find out what the fuck I sound like.
I think you have got better because I think we've all got better. We've all grown up a little bit. Maybe me more than anyone. Because look at
And certainly not Ash.
Look at some of the titles I'm not exactly very proud of.
Go on.
Conrad Murray in the hallway with the candlestick. That was after Michael Jackson died.
Who's Conrad Murray?
The doctor
Was that
that
the
apparently
doctor?
killed him.
Oh, okay.
Christopher Walken's not wearing hockey pads. That was one.
Can we have a Christopher Walken impression for old time's sake?
Why? It's Christopher Walken!
It's still the dude out of Police Academy, isn't it? Yeah.
This one I'm not too happy with. Episode 25. It's a little bit rapey.
I remember that one. I remember that one. And
You
that
weren't
was,
in it?
No. Was I in that one?
No,
No.
you weren't. It's episode 25.
There was another one then that we had rape. I must have listened to that one then.
It didn't have rape in it. Just make that clear to anybody. There was
Yeah,
no rape
yeah.
in the
I
podcast.
think you were talking about a film and I went, I didn't like it. It was a bit too rapey.
Yes, probably. We got Who's That Girl Going at Ludicrous Speed?
I think we were probably talking about the girl with the dragon tattoo.
Possibly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was probably when I was reading the books.
Yep, going through more, we had the Garden Cast, the Shed Cast.
The garden cast was an absolute classic.
I'm
it
in
was the
these
first
ones now.
good quality. It was in your garden.
Yeah, exactly.
It was the first really
Just wondering
good
what
quality
happened.
sound we ever had because we were sitting. It was the USB mic out in the garden. But if you go back to that one, which number was that?
Episode 36.
Yeah, if you make that one available, I would actually say that was one of our better early podcasts.
Yeah, I
It
think
was
it
sitting
was.
out in the garden. The sound quality was magnificent. It was like
Glorious
March.
summer day.
It was no spring.
It was warm.
It was really warm.
Sunny.
It got to the point, and you'll hear it on the podcast if you listen back, where I took my t-shirt off.
It was March.
Yeah,
We did it in March.
and then we had a barbecue after and got.
Yes.
Quite
I just
drunk.
remember it was a glorious day.
But even then, that's when I'd learnt that I needed to start drinking weaker beer. I was drinking mild that day. I seem to recall.
Ah, okay.
Oh yeah.
Episode 39. I love this one. Pro Nun See Asian.
Yes. Because you were saying pronunciation. I was like, no, it's pronunciation.
It's a pro
Pro
nun.
nun, see Asian.
We've got a couple. This made me laugh here. We got Big Oddcast and Little Podcast.
You know they're doing a reboot of that.
Yes, with the Rock. Yeah,
Yeah. Shall we talk about that later?
we can talk about it. Talk about it now if you want.
No, because that leads me to the conversation I was planning to have later about which films they should reboot and whether it's a crime. So
Okay, we'll do it
maybe-
later.
Yeah, we'll do
Right.
that later.
Here's the one you're talking about. Episode 58. Hashtag the legitimate rape of Eddie Talkie. That's probably one
was,
you.
was it me talking about Eddie Murphy and just
Eddie
drunkenly
Talkie.
called him Eddie
Eddie
Talkie?
So we had all these like weird episode titles. That's fine, but
Yeah.
I was looking at some of the hits they've had when it was
Is this
on.
hits on the downloads of the episodes?
This is hits on the feed site it had. So
Right.
it may not constitute as a download,
Yeah.
but it was definitely how many hits it was getting.
Yeah.
And one of them which really sticks out, and I know
Sticks
why.
out rather than standing out.
stands out. sticks out.
Okay.
Because it was the raping of Eddie Talkie.
Yes.
No, it was episode 59. It's like a movie spit roast. And that had nearly 150,000 hits.
And normally, how many hits do we get, roughly? Let's say, how many hits did episode 21 get?
If I go down to episode 21, it had -2. That only had like 150.
So, gone from 150 to 150,000. What's happened?
Yes, what do we do?
Is this people Googling for porn, saying, "Oh, celebrity spit roast," and just accidentally hitting the page?
Well, I don't know, because in the next one was Gorilla's List, which was...
There was a really good... I remember that. There was a really good bit where I was doing lots of puns on Gorillas in the Mist, and then you had, like, masturbation gorillas, gorillas in the fist.
Yeah.
And then, it was the one where the gorillas were saving people. The Jews had been sent for death. That was Gorilla's List,
Yeah,
and
that
all
was
of that
it,
sort of
yeah,
stuff. I really enjoyed riffing on that.
That had 6,000. And so that's the one after the one that had 150,000. So people obviously maybe listen to that going, what's a movie spit roast? Listen to it, guys. These guys are talking shit. Gorilla's List. Oh no, these guys are just literally talking shit.
That's just really bizarre.
Core Blimey, Tramps on Zune, episode 63.
That was a blimey ad.
Nearly 4,000.
That's just weird. Do you reckon that was the Zune reference? People Googling and finding the podcast titles on...
Yeah, finding us and then clicking the link.
So can we just call this episode 200 Star Wars?
We should do, because there's loads
Episode
more.
7.
Like, one that get
Episode
like
200.
one that did
Back
get
from the
quite a few thousand downloads was A Very Merry Oddmas Carol,
Yeah.
which was the first Christmas one we did in 2012.
Now, the funny thing about that episode is
You're
that
not
was
really in
about
it.
the time you were despairing with me and Ash getting too horribly drunk every other episode.
Yes.
And you got Rita to basically record a little play about that. It was kind of passive-aggressive. I loved it. About how the podcast would fall apart if it weren't for you, and how Will and Ash were just chronically drunk the whole time. I loved it. It was great.
That's actually spot on, yeah, because I didn't know what was going on. I was trying to be professional. Because in episode 71, if you remember,
Unfortunately, to be professional, you've got to be paid, so we're rank amateurs.
Yes. I'll drink to that.
yeah. It said, episode 71 was A Tale of Two Podcasts. In this episode of the Oddcast Podcast UK, the podcast nobody is listening to, hashtag not listening. See, since 2012 we've been branding that hashtag.
You
have. Yeah. Adam has to make a decision.
I know how much that's a struggle for you.
It says, a full 1 hour and 15 minutes was recorded, but there was a problem. It became a drunken shambles. I'm calling you out in the write-up.
no, it had. You were getting
Yeah,
properly
but
pissed
you've
off
got to
with
bear
us.
in mind that we weren't reading the write-ups at this point, because, well, I definitely wasn't, because I wasn't even looking
Oh,
at
I've
it.
never
I don't
read a
even know
word
what-
that Adam's actually written.
Where were they written?
I
don't even know
fucking
where
hate
they're written.
myself for this. I'm such a dick.
He was very
I even
passive-aggressive,
wrote this.
wasn't it?
I wrote this as well and put this out as if it was like proper. Like, we couldn't allow the listeners to experience the final 40 minutes of the recording.
I must admit, I do vaguely recall it.
So it left 35 minutes of okay-ish recording.
I'll be fair. To be honest, the trouble, you're not a combative type, or if there's a problem, your preferred approach is to try and ignore it.
Yeah.
What you should have done way back then is say, dude, both of you,
Yeah.
you're getting too pissed and the podcast is shit because of it.
Yeah, I'm not having fun.
You never did that.
I'm
You
not getting drunk.
you went, let's record passive-aggressive episodes and snarky
I've not read this back. This is actually
Which they're not
embarrassing.
going to read anyway.
Yeah, precisely.
So they're not going to get it.
See, I'm embarrassed to write it. I've read it now. It said, now, Adam called in a favour, and he was able to have a civilised, informative, and entertaining chat with Amelia Reed, a production assistant in the movie industry and filmmaker. That is the bitchiest, horriblest write-up I've ever done. It's amazing.
You know that Mash and a Mutie blog where you turn yourself into a woman? I think you started that a while back.
There's it. The two discuss working behind the scenes in industry, script development, and also working on their own short film. Now, I do remember this now, because I even put it down here as well. After a nice beginning to the show, you are able to hear the leftovers from recording of episode 71. All the drunken madness, but not to the point of incoherence.
I must admit, I do recall. Did we hit the spirits cupboard or something during recovery? I think because I've got this.
This will explain why.
Go on.
Adam, Will, Ash, and Marcus Discuss old 80s sitcoms.
Was
Guess
that
a
the
movie year.
last? Was that the last episode we had Marcus in on?
No, Marcus came in later on in like the hundreds.
He's
Fair
been in the
enough.
hundreds.
I think that was more a controlled scenario. I do seem to recall. Marcus, if you are listening, we do love you, but with
Too much
me and
drinking.
Ash drinking as well, it caused chaos.
I remember that was back in the day. I do remember some of those where I know there was one episode where I walked out into the garden and said, "We're not recording any of that, and you've got to cut a certain amount of shit back out again," because I know there was one episode where I was horrendously drunk, but I was not happy with the way the conversation was going. She said, "You do that, I'm not coming back.
I'm not coming back in.
I'm not doing it. That's not going out." And then we got serious for a little bit while pissed as farts, and it was just stop it.
Bin it. Although, ladies and gentlemen, if you do want to hear Marcus in another podcast, you can catch him in the Not Watching podcast, where I actually guarantee he's actually pretty good.
And sober.
Yeah. The thing is, they do it's a very different style of podcast. You know, they catch up with the latest film and sort of TV news, and aren't horribly drunk while they do it.
Yeah.
Which is better than us.
I also added into this. Trust me, this podcast is chalk and cheese.
I thought you were going to say this pork pie is not chalk and cheese.
A first
pork
half...
and egg is the best. The gala pie. Gotta love a gala pie.
I mean, what bitch? A first half of informative, laid back, and soberness, then moves into the second half of crazy, random, drunken shambles. It's a tale of two podcasts. Enjoy. So I spun it to make it kind of work.
Yeah.
I said, make sure you listen to the end for a special appearance from a podcast favourite. Well, I want to try and find this because I'm interested now to see what that ending was like.
The one that was the title.
I wonder if we can actually get the. Oh, here we go.
I can't remember what we were talking
What we got?
We got it. So.
What you're about to hear is part of the Podcast Network. If you have a
Rita.
problem with anything you hear,
Bless you, Rita.
Please write it in an email and go fuck yourself. Enjoy the show.
This is now going to go into the intro bit. It's about 3 minutes long. Skip it.
That's true. Yeah, I remember that now. Yeah. All right.
It used to take an interview.
Quite strongly when I came out of university. At university,
Oh, come on. Skip it. This isn't interesting to anyone.
Yeah, but that lady there, Amelia Reed, still talk to her now. She's actually.
Oh, no, I'm sure she's lovely. I'm sure the interview was fascinating.
She is the sister of Hannah Reid, who is the.
Not the Hannah Reid.
From London Grammar, the band.
Oh, my. Who?
London Grammar. Shut up. Right, okay, let's skip forward. An hour and 5 minutes in.
Would you like Rita to give you a... I'll the wind up any Mr. Fraser. Yeah.
Hello, Marcus.
More difficult next week, Will. Rita, can you please make them more difficult? I know I don't turn up that often.
Oh, this
so
is
I
Rita
feel free to slow down.
Ramnani's really random rambling reviews.
I do listen along, but you know, they need to be more difficult, please.
But yes, Adam, I'm looking for the happy medium between the. It was a film.
Oh, I've been bitching about the really random rambling reviews being too difficult.
Bigwigs. It's a nice contrast, isn't it? She was really harsh last week.
Now, I think... Let's move on from this one, because it's just us being drunken wrecks, and we've already demonstrated the drunken
do you remember
wreckness.
this bit, though?
Now,
I recorded specially at the end.
I think it's a lot of women.
I don't think it is, though.
No, I didn't think so either. I was just being polite because it's Christmas.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. But no, Marcus wasn't that drunk. I don't.
No?
think.
Not
I was
I-
next to him.
Couldn't understand a word he was saying. That was like Swahili or something. I don't know.
That's when I got my Rita to record like a fake thing where she interrupted the show.
Now, there is only one old podcast thing I think we should go for.
Right, okay.
Which is Ash.
It's not the...
Yes,
the
it's Rita Ramnani's really random rambling review, The Thing with the Thing.
I was so drunk.
And I think it would be worth just playing this out in its entirety. It's probably a couple of minutes long, so seriously, if you've heard it before or you just don't want to listen to old shit quality recording played out over a little speaker, then done into a mic and the whole sound quality thing's doing your head in, well, skip on by about 3 minutes and you'll probably be okay. But I think this is a magnificent piece. Now, shall I do the diddly-did thing so we can pause it while you find it?
Yeah, do the diddly-did.
I am so embarrassed about this.
Okay, so...
Seamless. Absolutely seamless. Homage to a podcast of old. Right, okay, so I found the episode. I skipped through.
Right.
Episode 66 it was.
Yeah.
The Thing with the Thing. It was a
Okay.
Halloween special.
So we're just going to let the whole thing play out?
Yeah, so I found a bit...
Should we give a bit of background to what the feature is, or...?
Yes.
Yeah, give a little background of what the feature was.
So this was something... Rita was awesome on this, so Adam used to get Rita to record little quizzes. She would cryptically describe a film, and Ash and I had to guess which film she was talking about. Now, this is my absolute favourite one of these ever. We should do some more of these, even if Rita can't get involved. I'd like to do some of these for you guys. And,
or even just do it for ourselves.
Yeah, let's bring it back.
Yeah.
Let's bring it back, because it's a great feature.
Okay, so let's play it. See, here's a sound.
You ready for today's Rita Van Nana's really random rambling reviews?
Yes. Yes, we are.
Here we go.
Hey there, it's Rita and Nani here, and it's time for another great edition of Rita and Nani's Really Random Rambling Reviews. With me, Rita and Nani, obviously. So here is today's film. Another 80s film where the entire film is set in a really cold place. Don't you find that films set in a really cold place make you really cold? I remember once when I went to the cinema to see Titanic, and the bit where they all end up in the freezing cold water, I got a massive chill and got really cold. But I was then told the fire exit door was open and there was a draft coming in, and I was only wearing a t-shirt and didn't have my jumper. But anyway, this film is set in a cold place and written by the creator of a 70s slasher film. In this film, something is attacking people one by one, and even in one scene, they kind of break in two and look like a massive dog thing. Even though it's not really a dog, just something that looks like a dog and continues to attack people. The film is pretty scary. So what movie am I talking about?
Okay. Rita Van Nana's really random rambling reviews there.
I think I might have this one.
You reckon?
Yeah, so let's let Ash
Maybe.
I haven't got a bloody clue.
I can tell by your expression.
Yeah.
Right, so it's set in a cold place.
It's set in a very cold place.
Yeah, it's
A very, very cold place.
very, very, very cold place.
Uh-huh.
And she was watching Titanic because she got cold in the cinema once, but that's got nothing to do with the movie.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
just a rambling bit. And it's something that's going around killing people, and it turned into a massive dog thing. That's not really a dog, just looks like a dog thing, but it's not actually really a dog. And it killed people. It was a really cold place.
And it was directed by someone who made the slasher movie.
Yeah, in a 70s slasher movie. So, what is it? It could be anything. You know what I mean?
And I am really, really struggling on this one. I got the last one really easily.
Come on, Ash.
Something's got to pop in your head. Come on.
Something's got to pop into my head. I'm thinking of a snow beast or something. What year did you say it was?
Didn't
Just
say
said
yeah.
it was in the 80s.
In the 80s.
In the 80s. Yeah, because
There's got to be something in the 80s.
Which narrows it down.
Buggered my thing slightly.
It's definitely bugging. Definitely.
Everything buggers my thing slightly. The only thing... I think I might have been
The other
mighty
thing-
drunk. The only thing that I thought of, which was actually probably 79, possibly, was the cold scene in the Star Wars film. So,
There's a cold thing in the Star Wars thing? You said cold.
Yeah,
Is there a
there's-
cold thing in there?
Yeah, is it cold?
yeah, when they were on that moon thing.
That moon thing.
The
Oh.
moon
Oh.
thing.
That's weird.
They were on the cold icy moon thing with the big monster thing that was trying to rip Luke's arm off. And all
It's
that.
kind of like having the director's
And it got
voiceover.
stuck in the other thing. That
So-
did the other thing. So I'm gonna have to say Empire Strikes Back.
Empire Strikes Back. So,
And
he says so many,
definitely
so
not.
many things. He went for so many things there, and he come up with that. And
I'm trying to skew it, and all.
You can actually hear me choking to death in the background.
Laughing like a mental, but I'm going to guess the thing.
You think it's the thing?
Yes.
I've never seen that.
Never
I
seen
still
it.
haven't seen that.
Nor have I, but I know it's set in the ice, and I know Rita emphasised the word thing on something, and that's all I'm going by.
I know I was just saying the thing, lots. And he was saying the
All right,
thing
well-
as well. I now get it.
Let's see.
Shit, I'm a
Let's
dickhead.
see what the film is.
That's good music.
Today's film was The Thing. Come on, you must have got something from that.
I still haven't seen it even after that.
The thing.
Bugger. Sorry, Rita. Even though I was saying thing an awful lot, it still didn't even click.
fuck me, I enjoyed that.
Thing click.
So that was Will's favourite bit
Yeah,
because you actually
definitely.
you actually messaged, didn't you? To say, I need to find the thing with the thing
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah, it was a magnificent moment, I have to say.
A magnificent moment in our podcast.
What was your favourite moment, Adam?
I could even think of one.
Every time we stopped recording.
Yeah, I think after I got over the fact of being a little bitch and being passive aggressive. And, well, in this episode, I do not want to talk to these guys. And
Well,
this
to be
episode,
fair, we were absolute pissheads at that point.
Yes.
Although I'm looking at the empties next to us for tonight's episode, so
we're
doing
homaging
quite
it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay.
Episode 83, Popey says relax. Episode 84, it's a Northern Batman.
I've no.
what
That's
was
the
that
trouble.
one? That's-
No recollection of that.
No.
I wonder why it's a Northern Batman.
Oh, I do recall that actually. So that was it was on the BBC News at the time, and basically there was some sort of street crime, and some fat northern bloke who was dressed as Batman wrestled him to the ground. It was something like that. It was like he stepped in and helped out the law dressed as Batman, and that was the main thing.
Yeah, that's about right. We also talked about that Will and Ash fighting with katanas, an 8-year-old groom.
Oh, actually, tell you what, that's because one thing we used to do and we haven't done for a while was the old videos.
Yes.
Chip Ninja.
The Chip Ninja video. If you Google Barker, go into YouTube and do Parker Podcasts.
Parker Podcast.
Yes.
Parker
Which was
Podcast.
going to be my Twitter parody account to just wind Adam up, but I
Yeah.
never got round to it. But if you do Barker Podcast Chip Ninja, you will find Ash and I in my back garden cutting potatoes out of the air with a katana.
Yep, Misty Van Horn selling her kids on Facebook.
Misty Van Horn. I remember it was...
You found that hilarious.
It was such a good name.
The Big Podcast is episode 86. The Big Podcast of Lesbian Horse Stories.
Yes, I remember that. That was it was books that had been nominated for like the opposite of the Pulitzer, whatever the big podcast.
The Raspberry Award
for fuck's
that they
sake!
get in
Yeah,
movies.
yeah, basically equivalent to that, basically shit. And it was the big book of lesbian horse stories that took the prize that year.
And then they just went on. Then we got to episode 100. Episode 100 was fun. Remember that
What was
one?
episode
Yes.
100? Remind me.
That
please.
was the Doctor Who special where Rita Ramnani went come all the way from the future to stop you taking over the world, stop Ash getting lost in space.
Vaguely recall that. I might have to re-listen at some point because I do remember just completely hamming it up.
Yeah, you
blew up
you
my
end up
house.
becoming the Prime Minister.
Oh, didn't Ash do go off to Mars or something, or
Yes.
off
Oh,
to
my-
colonise
oh,
another planet?
My cat and buttered toast powered.
Yeah, that was the one.
That
yeah.
was it. You were Matt Damon before Matt Damon.
Yes.
In The Martian, that is, not just Matt
Sorry,
Damon.
I don't think you said
Yeah.
Matt Damon correctly.
Matt Damon.
That's better.
Damon.
And yeah, then we had loads of other episodes. And then we started getting a bit more kind of hone it down, stop it from being 100 minutes long each episode.
It wasn't so much like let's hone it. It's hang on, we don't actually have time anymore.
And then we
By
kind
that
of
point, I had a daughter.
from like episode 100 onwards, I think we got it down to about half an hour each episode.
Can I just point out, this is a purely self-indulgent podcast. For
Yes.
those that have
Yep.
remained listening to us at this point, this really isn't about you guys, the listeners. This
It's
is we're just having a
We are stroking our own
nostalgic
dicks in this one. So.
yeah. This is a mutual masturbation session.
But we got some good guests in. Like, so I've got Amelia Reading, Petra Bryan. We had chat with
Who was the
Sarah
high-kicking Sarah
Vivian,
Vivian?
yeah.
Yes, she was awesome.
We got also Rita Ramnani. We even
Didn't
got
she have
Simon
the
Phillips.
world record for kicking eggs off the top of people's heads or
She
something?
did,
bizarre?
and then
Was
she
it
lost
eggs
it.
or was it footballs?
It was footballs in one of them, but I think they were eggs or chocolate
Might have been
eggs.
a bit of both.
American
Yeah,
footballs.
yeah. How does one balance an American football on top of one's head?
On the point, very carefully.
Sounds good.
That's
Or
how
you
good.
just hammer it in a little bit and make a dent in the top of the head.
Well, if you get a hammer first, you can make a little hole, and then you probably got a divot you can put it in. Yeah.
Episode 123.
Mm-hmm.
Right, was out
One,
in
2, 3.
March 2014.
Hmm.
Nearly 60,000 downloads.
What?
60,000 hits. This is the Darth Vader's sore throat.
Or Darth Vader's sore throats, to put it another way.
Darth Vader's sore throat.
Yeah, or Darth Vader's sore throat, to put it another way.
Darth Vader, sore throat.
Daft Vader.
Okay.
Just winding you up. Come on.
I'm lost. But yeah, if we put Star Wars in any of the titles, I think we're going to get good hits.
Well, that's it. Well, this is why. Oh, maybe the episode title for this needs to be Episode 200: A New Hope.
Maybe. Or No Hope. Oh, no, look here. May 2014. The Really Real Podcast. A special radio episode. It's the start of it. It's the start
Yeah,
of
we
us
weren't
starting.
involved in that.
You heard that was me and Billy.
No.
That's when I started going off to do the radio show.
Yeah. Basically, it was the point at which you stopped having time to do this.
Pretty much. You got to remember, I just had a kid as well.
No, your wife had the kid.
Well, yeah, that's true. But still, I had to go.
Although,
Like,
I must admit, if we go back, I say I had children several times previously, so moving on.
We'll forget that.
moving on. So, but
I
yeah, so,
don't have any that I know of.
so yeah, we've got all the way to episode 200 so far.
Yeah.
We are going to take a break from
Oh,
this.
yeah.
Like,
Should we now we've done the nostalgia shit, should we do a proper podcast?
should we do like a little bit just to make it feel like we're actually giving something like a podcast out to people for the next 20 minutes or so?
For the people who've actually stuck with it so
just
far.
so, like, should we actually try and make a podcast out of this? You're
Yeah.
going to get notes up, Will, or something?
Yeah, so fuck this. So now I have a...
Fuck this, yeah. Is your mic on, Ash?
I think so. I hope so. Yes, I think it is.
Just make sure you haven't said nothing in the last 5 minutes. I'm like,
Now-
is he trying to say something that you can't hear him?
Talking of films, we were talking earlier, and it was... We mentioned that Big Trouble in Little China is getting a reboot.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not certain how I feel about this, because The Rock is not the same kind of actor as Kurt Russell was for the original.
It won't.
Well, no, he looks completely different.
Well, no,
Yeah.
he looks completely
The
different.
Rock's
but he's-
Samoan.
Yeah, but the fact is now Kurt
Eats
Russell...
15 chickens a day
15 chickens.
Yeah, alive.
with a couple of kilos of chips.
He chases them like Rocky. Bites their head,
Different.
bites their heads off.
Now, my trouble is, you look at Big Trouble in Little China, which is an absolute fucking classic in my
Bit
opinion.
patronising that film, isn't it?
Not at all.
Little China.
No, Little
That's what it's
China
called.
was a district.
Oh, it was
It
actually
still
in
is a
China.
district.
Yeah, no,
It
it's
wasn't in
Chinatown,
China.
basically.
Oh, okay.
Chinatown, Little China, same thing.
China.
But the whole thing is... Kurt Russell's character is what made that film.
Yes.
He was not that big a fighter. He was a lover, not a fighter. He was a
a dodgy
gambler.
truck driver.
Yeah, basically.
Who
he was
had a
dodgy-
gambling
that's
problem
It.
and drank lots of beer.
That's it. And got very confused throughout the entire film. Now, I just cannot see The Rock doing a similar role. I've got a rock and roll thing. No, that...
For a start, his first
Bizarre.
name's Dwight.
I love the way your puns are working.
So, no, it wasn't deliberate. It just suddenly... I can't talk about The Rock doing a role without going, ooh.
Rock and roll.
However, you know, I can't see Dwayne Johnson doing the same job as, you know, Kurt Russell managed to do. Kurt Russell was funny. It was a humorous film, and I can't really see The Rock in a comedy role playing this relatively unassuming truck driver type character.
Are
Now,
they
the
going to
reboot-
make it as Are they going to make it though as a comedy, or are they going to make it as a sort of an action
Yeah, big go-
adventure?
The Rock's
This is
very
my
funny.
concern. The Rock can be funny, but he's not got the right build or the right persona. Now, I could be entirely wrong, but I think it's a bit criminal. I think Big Trouble in Little China could be rebooted, but I would rather see someone... Statham might be able to do it, for example.
He's buff, though, isn't he, Statham?
He's buff, yeah. I must admit, he's a bit too buff for this. So who would be better off? Because I can't see The Rock. The Rock doesn't work for me as the lead role in this. But I think...
Chris Pratt?
I don't know why.
Who?
I just thought Rick Moranis.
Chris Pratt, the guy from Guardians of the Galaxy and the new
Oh, okay.
Jurassic World.
Yeah, that's that sort of thing, you know. So he's not too buff, too...
Will Ferrell.
No, never.
Adam Sandler.
Fuck you.
Will
No.
Smith.
Oh,
Will
God.
Smith, though, he always saves the world, doesn't he, Will Smith?
No, the sort of actor I can see doing it is... I don't know, they can't be too hard appearing. Do you know what I mean? They've got to be a bit of a pussycat who can respond in the right
Graham
time.
Norton.
No, he's just
Not
a
that
pussy.
much of a pussycat.
No,
Alan Carr.
No. I
David
think-
Williams.
No. Once again, you kind of need someone who can play the action hero, but it's just the believable character. Rock, I don't believe, can play the same kind of character that was in the original.
They're not
So-
going to make the original, though, are they?
Well, that's
Iron
it.
Man would be able to cope with it.
Downey Jr. could do a lovely job.
Yeah. I was just struggling to read. I was thinking Sammy Davis Jr. And it's
Sammy-
I know he's Junior. I know he's Junior, so I'll just say Iron Man. That will
All right,
work.
Sammy Davis Jr.
All right, let's leave this because I must admit it's a difficult one. But have both of you guys seen The Lost Boys?
Yeah.
Yes.
Now,
great film.
should that? I've got a list of films here, and I want to know if they should or shouldn't be rebooted.
Okay, it's like a little game.
So, The Lost Boys. Now, that's an absolute.
What did
Yeah.
you say?
He said no. No. I'd like a little bit more discourse. Now, The
simple
Lost Boys is a classic 80s film, which I think personally could be translated into a modern context. They keep the humour. You can't have, one of the Frog Brothers. What's his name? Corey Feldman.
Yep.
He's still alive?
Apparently so.
Feldman-
We did this on an earlier podcast.
Yeah.
Apparently he is.
Feldman's alive, Haim's dead.
Yeah, that's it. But The Lost Boys, do you think that film should be redone?
I could say it
Or
should.
could it be redone?
I think it could do, yeah.
It could be redone, but what
You-
are they going to do to really improve it?
Here's
Are they
what I'm
gonna
saying.
do more
Ooh.
CGI type
Good
stuff.
question.
or
The
is
Lost
it
Boys,
gonna
right?
be-
You're remaking the story,
Yes.
not the era.
This is the point, yeah.
So you could remake the Lost
Although
Boys.
the soundtrack to The Lost Boys was magnificent.
Well, yeah, but soundtrack to any movie makes a movie. Like I've
Yeah.
watched really great movies with terrible soundtracks. I've
Echo and the
watched-
Bunnymen's cover of People Estranged by the Doors
Yeah.
was superb in that. It made that film. It was magnificent.
But you could easily remake Lost Boys and make it decent because you're remaking a good story.
yeah.
But you don't have to make it like set in the 80s. The only reason the Lost Boys you remember it is because it's so 80s.
It's
with the
very
hair
80s.
and the rock music.
Although young Kiefer
Yeah, but it
Sutherland,
hasn't aged. It hasn't actually.
not badly because the plot,
You
the story
yeah,
is still
you
good.
can
Yeah, there's no
watch it now. They
technology.
didn't do the loads of CGI that now looks shit.
Yeah.
They actually did it properly.
But if
And
Kiefer
it's
Sutherland
not-
came back, he'd actually have to be the chief vampire rather than the youngster.
Yes, yeah.
That'd be a good twist.
If they use a similar cast,
Actually, that'd be
yeah.
pretty cool.
That's probably what they would do.
Actually, Kiefer Sutherland as Max, the head vampire, would be awesome. Okay, Blade Runner. Now, there's a tricky one for me because
Well, they're making a sequel.
they're making a sequel, but could it be rebooted? Can you imagine it being redone?
No.
I-
Only because
I don't think they can.
that sort of thing you can't really reboot because it's so kind of the way it looks, the story, it's its own thing. If you reboot it, you're just literally telling the exact same story without bringing anything to it. They did this with Total Recall. They tried to remake a
Well, the
futuristic
thing is, they
futuristic
redid
movie,
it from the book, actually.
and you're just literally retelling the story and not adding anything to it. If you're going to
Yeah.
remake something, add something to it.
What about Gremlins?
You wouldn't need to remake it. You just make a sequel.
You could do it better. You could do it
No, but
so
you make
much better than it was done.
Adam's hit the nail on the head on that one.
Mm.
You just make another one.
Yeah.
You don't call it Gremlins the reboot. You actually.
Oh, no.
Just call it Gremlins Generations. And just
Yeah,
have
you don't need to say 3 or 4 or 5 or 6.
I had an idea for a Gremlins
Take
movie.
the
I'm
numbers
going to say
then.
it now, right? This is my idea for a Gremlins movie. This is my pitch.
Busy Pop.
Anybody out there who wants to make a Gremlins movie, this is my pitch to you, right?
Da, 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 da. Sorry.
So you got Billy and his wife, Phoebe Cates, yeah?
Yep.
Right.
Oh, I
from
thought
the-
you were talking about Billy from the podcast.
No, they're both of them together
Maybe
still.
you could play him.
They've got a kid.
Mhm.
They've still got a Gizmo,
Yeah.
right? The kid, the Gizmo sneaks into the kid's bag when the kid goes to summer camp by a lake, gets wet. I just have just one image of
How about he goes to the
whole
desert and they
lake.
get a? How about he goes to the desert, which is normally got virtually no rain, so they go, let's take you to a dry place, and they get this unseasonal rainstorm.
They find an oasis.
Because why would he?
No,
go to
you're
the lake?
ruining my pitch.
Okay, go on, fucking. Get
And then
on
I just
with
have
it.
this one image of one night just looking out onto the lake and it's just full of gremlin cocoons.
Is Billy having sex with his wife during it?
They're not in it that much.
Okay.
They have to come. They come in towards it. It's all about the kid and the summer camp. And then the gremlins attack the kids at summer camp.
No, that's only after they've fed them after midnight.
No, they
Summer
can't. Well, yeah, they
camp.
can't. Yeah.
Gremlins, otherwise they're mogwai. They're mogwai and they multiply.
Oh no,
as
no!
mogwai.
I'm talking, this
Multiply.
has all happened after. This is when the gremlin cocoon now is on the water because they turn into gremlins after.
Okay,
all
after
that
they've
stuff.
fed after midnight. So someone at camp goes, oh, there's this little creepy thing that looks
Yeah.
a little bit like a thing.
Summer camp, and the gremlins are refilled. Sorry, that's all I wanted to say.
By the way, we stopped then because he held his hands up, and now I wish I hadn't stopped.
I had to get you to shut up because I tried it a moment ago and you kept talking.
This is just
Yeah,
like
you
the
know
old
how
show.
I feel on the 200 previous episodes. Or sorry, the 160,
90, not... No.
64 or 66.
Well, you got to remember,
Well, maybe you should have held your hands up.
in that as well, Ash, you got to remember,
You got something to say?
No.
well, you also had a few movie comms that you did. Remember movie com?
I did some movie comms, yes, with Marcus.
Yeah. What
Yeah,
happened to them?
they were great fun.
The beauty of all these podcasts, right? A lot of people that do podcasts that get to this far, 4 years down the line, a lot of their previous episodes get lost, and you can never listen to them again.
Actually, why don't you explain the idea behind MovieCom? Because I liked the idea.
Well, the idea behind MovieCom was it was an alternative commentary
Yeah.
during a film. So we would actually start off. They would be the podcast would be actually 10 minutes longer than the film. There'd be a 5-minute intro. Then we would have the film on in the background. This is a mic on the middle of the table.
Yep.
So from the back is coming in from the main speaker system around the telly.
Mhm.
Us sitting on a sofa watching it, drinking copious amounts of wine
And just chatting.
So
and just
basically,
chatting while we're doing it.
so it's like being able to watch a film, but having two drunk bastards talking over it the whole time.
Maybe 3 or 4.
Yeah,
Depends-
and occasionally,
depends who was there.
well, yeah, we went up to 4. I think once we hit 5,
Yeah.
and that was just pandemonium.
Did quite a few episodes. And
Yeah.
then you changed it when me and Billy left it to go and continue It's Not Soccer.
We carried on for quite for a little while, and then we decided that we'd actually just end up talking about the film.
Yeah.
And yeah, then it sort of unfortunately died a little bit of a
Just
mini
you
death.
just couldn't be bothered, could you?
Yeah, no.
Just couldn't be asked.
No. But yeah, when we did Star Wars, that was great because I think we got through about 3 bottles of wine each. While
And
watching Star Wars.
didn't you watch the original Star Wars like without all the special effects?
Oh yeah. It was all the
1977.
everything was as was in cinema at time film was released.
So yeah, it's a movie code we had. That's still out there to listen to. Pod
Yeah.
God Damn It. Do you remember Pod God Damn It?
I do.
Yes.
Well, so for those that aren't aware of it, you have to kind of explain the concept of the Podgods Network.
The Pod Gods Network was set up back in, I want to say, 2012. Maybe
About then,
later,
It was
yeah.
around then. Yeah, well, Ask an American was around.
That's true, yeah. And I was we're going to
No, Ask an American was around, and then the Podgods Network came
Yes,
in.
that was
Part of it,
afterwards.
yeah.
Yeah, so Pod Gods Network was us, and then we had BUI, Mick from BUI,
Yeah.
Angry Ginger.
Blogging under the influence, if I
That was
recall.
it.
Yep.
Yeah, and you had Angry Ginger in the last podcast standing 7 Days a Geek.
Either of those two still about?
Angry Ginger 7 Days a Geek still going.
7 Days a Geek still
Yep,
going.
still
Okay.
going.
Blogging
BUI,
under the- yeah.
no, not
No,
going.
fair enough.
Yeah, Garage Cast, they're not going no more.
Garage Cast.
And then it just sort of built, and we had Dixon Cider, they're still going.
Good on them.
Can't try to think of the original ones. A lot of them have all stopped, but there's other new
Those are the
ones.
only
that-
ones I
it's
can
still
think of.
going, the Podcast Network. We're all still part of it.
Yeah, because it was something you set up, but you stepped away from.
Oh, yeah, because
basically.
I realised that I had a lot more better things to get on with.
Yeah, well, you set it up and it's kept going.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
Actually, that's how I used to. I only used to listen to our podcasts through the Podcasts Network webpage and stuff.
Yeah, the
Because
webpage
I
still
couldn't be
there.
asked to try and find them anywhere else.
It's not a .com no more. It's not podcastnetwork.com because they haven't paid for it, and I'm not paying for it because it's a lot of money. So it's still a
£2.50.
It's podgods.webs.com, and you can still go on there and click on all the links and listen to all these shows.
Cool.
But like I said, all our episodes are all still out there. All the Oddcast, podcast, and now do not listen are still up. You can still find them.
Can I be a bit harsh
Moviecoms are
about
still
one
there.
of the podcasts that are on it? Because there was something to do with lemon. There was a really boring podcast on there that used to do the podcast. Pod damn it! Oh, can't remember the name of it. Jellyfields.
Jellyfielders.
Yeah, like
yeah,
lemon.
they stopped ages.
I think lemon jelly.
Is that the
that's
couple?
right.
No, that was Our Married Life, and they got divorced.
That was
Yeah.
oh, super.
I knew there was some reason why why the couple
I think
ended up splitting up as a podcast.
Yeah, Pod Goddamn was a lovely idea. As you know, just raise a subject, and each podcast talks for 5 minutes,
5
on the
10
subject,
minutes, yeah.
5 to 10 minutes. But the trouble is, I listened to them, and that was what I listened to judge whether or not I wanted to listen to one of the other podcasts. And unfortunately, very few of the other ones entertain me. It's just
But
me.
then-
I'm picky.
But some of them
But good God.
probably did gain listeners from it. Do you know what I mean? Like some were listening to going, "Oh, I quite like this podcast," or "I quite like that podcast." So it probably worked for some people.
Well, I was. I remember. Yeah, that was 2 years ago. That was definitely running because I was redecorating the house, and
Well, don't start about your decorating story
no,
again.
I'm not going to start
Jesus
about the
Christ.
decorating stories. You can listen to them on some of the previous ones. But while I was doing that, I was actually listening, and because we were producing once a week, they were producing once a week.
Yeah, you could keep up.
I had hours at home decorating.
Yeah.
So I would just stick on one of these podcasts, and that was how I ended up listening to them and getting to know which ones I wanted to watch, listen to,
Yeah.
and all of that kind of stuff. And some of them were actually quite amusing.
Well, that's what I love about it, is that there's still people start podcasts, people stop podcasts. That's why I'm kind of proud. Like we are still going.
a lot of the podcasts I've listened to, I'm quite happy to hear they've stopped.
Yeah, a lot of them stop, and a lot of them they don't have a reason to stop.
I'm
I
sure
think
we've
it's
probably
just
got quite
their
a lot of
life.
listeners that wish that we'd stopped.
Nah, we've not got that
They just
many
don't
listeners.
Need to actually turn around and
No,
actually download it anymore.
I don't usually talk about how many listeners we got because I don't like to go on about it because I think it's stupid because it makes it
pointless.
like a competition. I don't like going on and publicly announcing, "Whoa, I've got so and so many listeners," but I know we have a very consistent amount of people that listen every week, and
Although I
it's
reckon
higher.
After today, some of them are probably stopped.
And it's higher than a lot of people would think.
Yeah.
We, as a not listening brand, at the website gets a constant amount of traffic each day, each week. So
I thought we'd get about 6. That'd be the 3 of us plus.
Listen to
other
it
randoms.
twice.
And
No,
we
no.
found it.
Ash, don't be silly. It's got to be more than 6 because you've also got Rob, John, Marcus, Adam, Ian. You know, you got to remember our associated podcasts.
Yes, they
But,
all listen to us.
Yeah, I just like the fact
religiously.
all the podcasts are on there. I did Panic Stations for a while. Remember that? I did with Andy Paul, the music
blimey,
one.
yeah.
That did pretty well, and we stopped that because we just didn't have the time. It's Not Soccer, we stopped because we moved me and Billy over onto Not Listening when we rebranded, so I didn't have to do 2 podcasts.
Right.
So It's Not Soccer we pretty much then just had episodes of me and Billy where you guys weren't
And
in
then
it.
Billy fucked off anyway.
And then Billy got a job. We got the radio gig, and then Billy got a job and
that was
left
it,
me
yeah,
alone.
yeah.
So then I had to do the radio with other
He's
people.
moved out of town, so he can't turn up.
But then, that's what I was going to say. That's what I was thinking about today. I was like, how cool is this? Like, we started this in 2011, me and Billy, as a joke.
Yeah.
You joined at the end of 2011, going in 2012.
Jesus fucking
Right?
Christ.
And again, it was just a laugh. Just
Yeah.
doing it as a laugh.
It's coming up 4 years.
Coming up 4 years now, we're doing it. And out of that, I've bagged myself. Well, granted, I'm not getting paid, but I'm part of a community radio station that's local. It's going on FM, and I'm quite a key part of that now. Doing a lot
I
of
like
work.
how we missed out on the fact that I actually joined at some point.
Well, yeah, you don't have to talk
It
about
wasn't
both.
worthy of mention. I like the fact that Adam's deeply proud of this, whereas I hide my presence online entirely and don't ever give away my surname because the last thing I want when I'm looking for jobs is to be associated to this podcast.
Your name's Will Not Dance.
Yes, Will Not Dance. And we've got Ash Brown over there.
Brown over there.
But that's what
I am very, careful.
I must admit, you made me nervous just for a
Yeah,
moment. there.
you were panicking, weren't you? But I just like the fact that since with this podcast and the whole website and that, and what Rob and John are all doing with their 2 podcasts, and the fact I've got the Really Real show going, which is a weekly radio show, which is also a podcast, which is doing pretty well with Emily.
Yeah,
this is fun. This is what podcasting's about.
Not for the people listening right now. This is probably dull as shit.
I'm trying to be what's inspirational to people out there that want to start a podcast.
Oh, no, to be honest, the people who listen to this aren't interested in starting podcasts. They want us to be funny. Now, the difficulty is I tried to move us onto the movie list.
We've
Tried to do
exhausted
that, and you kind of... We had all sorts of other shit written down that we could talk about.
We did.
Can't remember what it was.
I can't remember what it was.
I want to talk
what
about
do we have
selfies.
Okay, let's talk about selfies.
Ah, yeah.
Oh yeah, I wrote that down there.
Yeah.
Selfies. Let's talk about selfies.
So tell me about your new phone, Adam.
I've got a new phone, and it's got a selfie mode in it, which I love it.
Is it actually called selfie mode?
Rather than just use
It
front-facing
is.
My
camera.
one has front-facing camera, and it is a 4-year-old phone.
It actually is. It says selfie mode.
Yeah.
If I look at it, yeah.
It tells you a lot about the marketing
does
for that
it
phone.
actually have a warning that comes up saying, please stand in traffic?
So I'll just take a selfie.
Yeah, he just shut up completely and just opened his mouth
think
and
it's-
tried to eat the mic.
So many years ago, I had one of those 3G-enabled voice chat phones, which had a front-facing camera, because that's a standard thing. It allows you to Skype. It allowed you to do... Do you remember they wanted to do... It never took on, certainly over the phone networks, the whole video phone thing. That was the first thing they wanted to do. It had a front-facing camera, and they wanted to be able to do this video phone thing. Now, I'm kind of appalled by selfies as a concept. Now, the best way to avoid having to do selfies is to have friends, because that way your friend has a camera and takes a photo of you. Yes. Whereas the way Barker seems to do things is just take photos of himself. Now, but the thing...
I don't have any friends.
Well, there is that. You know, we don't count ourselves
and I'm
as
fucking
your friends,
vain
to be
as well.
fair.
I was involved in some of the technology stuff at one of the places that I used to work, and we were doing some sort of trying to work out how we can do our video conferencing and extend it to mobiles for people that were visiting clients and all this kind of stuff. And we did find, because they only had the camera on the back, that they were looking at this, and there was no way that they'd actually see what you were doing. So everyone was standing there with their phones backwards, talking into this camera, and not actually able to see anything. It was before they put them.
So why not just call each other then?
Well, exactly. It made no difference.
If you can't see it, what's the point of a video conference?
And then they came out slightly blurred because, of course, the microphone's on the other side of the fucking phone in the first place. It was completely pointless.
I think that's the worst thing, actually. When you take video footage on a phone, right, and you'd want to film someone and have their voice coming out, but the mic is always on the other side of the phone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you take this footage, and I've got this one where I was out at the park with my son and my daughter, and there's like storytelling seat, and I got to sit in the storytelling seat, and she told a story that was really sweet, and she was telling it, and you can just about hear it on the phone, and then I say, go on, Eleanor, carry on. And my voice over that is like 5 times louder than the thing I'm trying to record. It's infuriating. But I'm
going to take a selfie. I'm going to take a wide selfie.
You do
whilst
that.
You're talking.
Okay, that's really pleasing to hear.
It's going to be going out with the podcast.
Woo. Now, the trouble I have, right, it's not so much about the selfies and the sheer horrible level of vanity.
No, I've just tapped
but
myself
I'm just demonstrating to Adam that actually no, fuck it.
He's holding it
right.
wonky, even though he's looking at the bloody screen.
The trouble I have with the concept of the selfie. The selfie is nothing particularly new. It's just the sheer focus on it. Everyone's just like, I can tell because it's.
I used to turn my camera around the other way to take a photo.
Oh look, birthday selfie. Oh look. Wedding selfie. Oh, look, funeral selfie. Here's me with the dead person. Brilliant. Yay. Selfie sticks. What the fuck is that all about? Seriously.
You've seen some of the suicide selfies. They weren't actually
intending... What? You fucking what?
They weren't actually intending to commit suicide, but it's extreme selfies.
No. Darwin selfies is how I think.
All right, that's how it's now called. So they're actually standing...
That's what I called it.
Yeah. That's fine. They're standing in the middle of a dual carriageway trying to take a selfie.
Why are you taking a selfie in a dual carriageway?
Just as there's all of a sudden this truck behind them. That's the last thing that you ever see of that person, and it's the last thing that goes out because it's automatically uploaded to the cloud.
That's true.
Straight away. So basically...
Just like their soul.
Yeah. And on the side of a cliff, and they're trying to line themselves up. And they actually go, actually,
better take one step back.
If I actually duck down here, then I can do this. And then all of a sudden they fall off the cliff. There's actually now in Russia, there are actually, the government's turned around and given stipulation, or actually said, please, when you're taking a selfie, make sure you pay attention to this. What is actually
so you mean common sense then?
The problem is that so I love taking a selfie. I take group selfie. I take selfies every week when I do the Really Real show because I forget a guest in, but we just do it. But I don't think they have to come with instructions. They're self-explanatory. What's a
Anything
selfie?
You do
grab the phone
sense.
and take a picture of yourself, but only do it if it's safe to do so.
Now, Adam,
like
do you
anything.
have a selfie stick?
No, and I refuse to get one.
Why?
Because I don't think that is a
Because
selfie.
he can
then.
make one himself.
Because a selfie is supposed to be arm's length, bosh, you've just taken it. Selfie stick then starts becoming complicated. And what I don't like about selfie sticks...
What I do not like about selfie sticks...
What I don't like about selfie sticks is when people...
Went a bit that way, didn't it?
When people hold the selfie stick, take a picture, and you can see the fucking stick. I hate that.
Why?
Because it doesn't look right.
What makes it any better than just a selfie?
I don't know. I have no answer.
Now, my general problem is, right...
I draw the line
it's
at
the
selfie
sheer proclivity of photographs, right? Now, used to be that in our younger lives, we didn't have a camera on us the whole time, and we didn't just take photos of absolutely everything. Now, about 2 or 3 months ago, I left the wife at home with my little girl, and I took the boy out. I can't remember where we'd been or what he'd been doing, but he'd eaten a bit of sand previously. And I think I drove down to Billericay to see a friend, picked something up, and drove back. Now, as I was driving back from Billericay, I looked into the rear, because we've got like 3 mirrors in the middle of the car. You know, you got the side mirrors, but inside the car, I've got one to focus on the left-hand side rear seat, one to focus on the right-hand side rear seat. I think that's why a lot of cars slow down in front of me.
Yourself so you can check your makeup.
Well, no, I've got the rear view mirror, but basically it means that I can see the children. And I was looking in one of the rear view mirrors, and I noticed my boy starting to throw up over himself. So I did the right thing. I pulled over as soon as I could.
You waited until you got home and went, wife!
No. That's the point. But
So
what I did...
He's a good father.
What I did is I pulled over safely, because it's the sensible thing. I was on a narrow country lane. And I got out, went round the car, opened up the car, saw the boy covered in his own sick. And I did the only rational thing you can do. Pulled out my phone, took a couple of photos.
And then turned him upside down, wiped off some of the sick.
Well, no, I did it after, but I took photos first because I happened to have like a camera in my pocket.
Why not?
You know?
Document it.
But my thought was, my poor boy, he's feeling horribly ill. He's thrown up over himself. Why the fuck am I taking... They're still on the phone. I've still got... I'll show you the pictures later.
For this moment.
Yeah, but I was just thinking, hang on, the poor little sod's feeling horribly ill. I mean, I then, took the buckles off. Fortunately, I had a second child seat in the car, so I took the buckles off the seat that was completely coated in vomit. That boy can fit a lot in his stomach. Took the buckles off, took him out of the car, stood him on the side, stripped him off. Fortunately, the wife is incredibly organised and always keeps a spare change of clothes in the changing bag. So completely changed his clothes, put him in the spare car seat, because fortunately my daughter wasn't with us. Took it home, got back, said to the wife, "You're going to have to clean the sick out of the car now, love." Because she is 100% better at cleaning than I am, no doubt. But I was just thinking, why was my first reaction to take photos of my little boy covered in vomit? I don't know. What is it with this whole... You see these car crashes, and you get like horrible, fatal car crashes, and you get people like taking photos, doing a selfie of themselves, the car crash. There was that horrible air disaster recently.
The 2 policemen.
The 2 policemen that basically took a selfie with the blazing wreckage in the background.
Yep.
What the fuck is going on? What's wrong with us?
They got
Not
they
us.
had to resign.
No, us as a race. Us as a race.
Oh, that's a whole completely different podcast.
Well, there is that.
When I did my travelling,
It's a decorated story.
no, when I did
I
my
missed it.
travelling,
No, but it's an Ash
Southeast
anecdote, so it could
Asia,
go anyway.
I've got, what was it? I think I took about, in 3 months, I took about 2,500 photos. There's only about 35, maybe 40 that actually have me in them.
He didn't have any friends.
I could turn the
He
thing
was taking a
round
selfie,
and
Rob.
I could take photos.
That's the trouble. When you're
but I
travelling
didn't-
around that part of the world, finding someone you trust to take a photo of you is the trick, isn't it?
There were a couple where I would only let them go as far as the shoulder strap.
Yeah.
You take a photo of me, I'll give you $2, but if you try and steal it, I'll fucking kill you.
Yes, I will still hold on to this part. So the arm is still out, so it looks like a selfie, but it's not because I'm holding onto the strap of my camera.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't. And I still wouldn't do that these days. I wouldn't take selfies.
Yeah.
How about you?
It's a tricky... Sorry, I've really thrown the bag out by turning off the mic, which probably had this horribly loud click.
Yeah.
To say, how far are we in? But I've no concept. How far are we in?
I think we were in enough. Nearly an hour and a half.
An hour and a half?
no, we got
bring
more
back old
time
times.
to do. We got
No.
more time to do.
I reckon we can get another half hour on this.
Yeah.
I
think we should.
I don't think we could.
You don't
I think
want
we
to.
should,
Don't
but I need
push
a
me.
wee.
I'm watching you two get into that point. I'm just ready to write a really bitchy write-up on this.
Yeah, no,
To
exactly.
say like, oh, I had this much fun on this episode, but these two got so drunk and incohesive.
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 Oh,
See, he's
Ash,
drunker than we are.
you run with this, mate. Go for it.
He's even drunker than we are. Incohesive. He's just headbutted the mic. You
You know,
Although-
last episode was
Yeah.
episode 199, right? And that was Jump the Shark.
Oh, really?
Have we jumped the shark, do we think?
I don't know.
Who knows? I think tonight has been a recollection of old times. It's
Tonight has been
a horrible nostalgia trip.
It's been fun because it is just reminding us, because I think we've all forgotten where we started when we did this and what we used to do. Because like bringing up the fact that you started at number 34 and we just talked shit for an hour and a half to 2 hours.
It was up to 2
had
hours.
Rita Ramnani in doing little games, had Marcus in getting us drunk.
I must admit, I do miss some of the features we did, and we should bring them back next year. Because we're going to have a
I
break.
was just going to say, can we run through some of the features that we've actually done in the past?
Can you think of them off the top of your
Right,
head?
I can. Star Watch, which was... We tried to remodify it, but
Find
it was
an actor
basically...
and then
basically see what they've been
look at
doing.
what they've
Now,
done.
what we did wrong with that was basically sit and go, just look at IMDb and talk about it, which was really boring.
They did this film in 1973.
Yeah.
Rita Ramnani's really random rambling reviews.
They were superb.
Loved them.
Let's
Apart
not
from
forget-
the thingy
Let's not
which
forget
is
that I
really
wrote
embarrassing for me.
Oh, no, absolutely. And I would actually be happy to bring that back as a feature, and we could actually take turns in doing those.
Mm-hmm.
We could play it, or I could even get Rita to do it if she's available. She
Well,
hasn't
that's
gone
it.
anywhere.
The only trouble is I'd like to write some, but I'd then need to send it to you to be able to send it to Rita.
Which
that's
means
true.
that you can't play.
You can't.
Yeah,
You can't.
which
uh,
means it's just Ash, and you know how fucking brilliant he is at this stuff.
With the thingy.
That's true. Yeah.
But we could probably do some. We could riff off of that.
Yeah.
Now, what else did we do? We used to do Trailer Breakdown, which is better left dead in its
well,
grave.
no, I do that on a Really Real show with Emily now. So
Fine, because
that's not
I
too bad.
hated that feature.
Oh, I thought that was
She
that
loves
was,
it.
That was quite interesting, in a way, but it did tend to how drunk we were when
Yeah.
we actually
That one is
performed that.
dead to
Some
me.
of them got quite
All right, calm down, Will.
quite close to the mark.
Will.
It's dead to me.
Will.
What else did we do?
Prestigious Will.
Religious, not religious, prestigious.
No, nothing to do with religion.
We did Movie Bluff.
Movie Bluff. Now, that was kind of interesting, but I think it would need to be reworked to bring it back.
Yeah, I think I already do that on a radio show as well.
Okay.
I think I,
See,
st-
so
I think I
you're
stole it.
reusing some of
Yeah.
our old things.
Well, I do
It's-
fact, not fact.
Yeah,
Where-
well, that's the way I would take Movie Bluff. Because
Yeah.
the way we were doing Movie Bluff before was like, I would say, if we were talking about Mission Impossible, we would say, right, in Mission Impossible, Tom Cruise didn't wear sunglasses. His sunglasses were actually made out of spoons. And then, like, the next person would say, in Mission Impossible, it was always revolving
Yeah,
around
we-
spoons.
We
it was just
started
I
off-
remember
we started
now, it
off-
was-
wasn't it? We started off with a movie title, and we had to make the plot based on the movie title.
Yeah, because we hadn't actually seen the movie.
yeah, that was it. It
Yeah.
was something like that. It was just, it was
and we
fucking...
just make up our own bits and pieces, and then we carry on from whatever the previous person has said.
It was kind of shit, basically.
We did one. Go back and watch this. As obviously it's a feature we did where we talk about films.
And
to
we
go
do
back.
do
That's a
that
good
now
one,
and again, which is
is
basically pick a
just
classic
general
film,
chat.
talk about it, and take it on. So those will carry on.
Another one was guess a movie title or something, where you had to guess the title of a movie, and they come up. One of them was like Hercules meets Santa Claus or something. It was
You
like-
also used to do these numeric games, kind of, you know, how many, what was the death count in this? Was it higher or lower than the next film?
Did that in the early years.
Yeah,
In the
that,
days,
that sort of thing was kind of fun. And I must admit, I've always enjoyed doing the not interesting ones, and I'll
The not
definitely
interesting.
do some more of those.
Not interesting is brilliant.
They're hard work for me because I actually have to do a job.
Yes, you have to do some
and I,
work.
I don't ever do anything for the podcast outside of my working hours, so I have to make sure it's a quiet day in the office to come up with it. But I've got a load of notes, so there will be more not interesting stuff.
I've done a couple of those because they've always been science. The science Ash, I really
Except for the
enjoyed
one you
Science
did
Ash.
based on that wine quiz board game, that was possibly one
Oh,
of the worst
now
ever.
that was that was absolutely
Piss poor, yeah. To use technical terms, that was painful.
Yes, which slope was this particular type of grape grown on to make this particular type of wine?
Answer: we don't know or care.
Yeah. Have you got anything interesting?
Did it
about
taste any good?
Not really. I just like talking about wine. But no, that's what I like about it. It's the fact that we've just gone so far.
Yeah.
And we've just come back and thought, fuck it, we could have easily recorded like 5 or 6 episodes tonight with ease. But we decided, I've got things going on, you've got things going on.
Yeah. Let's do something incoherent and rubbish, just like we did at the first time.
Let's just homage like we
They've
used to
just
do.
ignored me again because I got nothing going on.
I love the fact that he's had to actually say out loud and interrupt what we were talking about to tell us he had nothing going on.
We know you've got nothing going on, but you think what's come out of the podcast, right? We're not ending the podcast, even though we're making it sound like we are. We're not.
I'm still wondering. I'm waiting for you in the new year to contact us and say, yes, let's do it.
Yeah, no, it'll be in the new year, so it'll be 2016. We're definitely going to pick it up and carry on.
I must admit, I've just bought this. People who are listening can't see it, but I bought this really nice boom mic stand, and I've only managed to use it once prior to this recording session.
You guys paid for a nice little mixing board as well.
But this mic stand cost me nearly £12. I don't want to fucking waste it.
We will be back.
By the way, it costs £12. If you want a Christmas present, Adam, I've got an idea for you.
Yeah, we'll throw in a couple of crisps as well.
But you
They
think
might
of
be
it-
a bit stale. By the
You
time
think
you
of
buy
like what's come out of this podcast since we've done it. We've done all these episodes. We've been drunk and stuff. We've chatted to people from movies, and we've chatted not big movies, but strippers versus werewolves. Come on, I mean, there we go. So we chatted to some cool people. We've had fun. We've had a laugh. We've got drunk. We've made little videos. Chip Ninja. We made a couple of video casts.
We should do more of them.
We should do. We even made a short movie, Chess for Idiots.
Chess for Idiots. That's good.
Which has got over 1,000 views on YouTube.
Yeah. And that was recorded at the very table at which we're currently talking.
In one night now.
And that was actually spawned, designed, and recorded
In one
probably
night.
within about an hour.
Yes, and edited in like 2 hours at home. So
Just
we've done all that.
didn't
The
care.
website's there. Like I said, we've now got Not Watching, Not Playing podcast. They are consistently putting
Are we trying to
shows out.
justify our existence here or something?
I think it's nice to
He's trying
feel
to.
like we should justify why we are still here.
I do it because I can have a laugh with two guys that I actually consider as very good mates, and I can get pissed with and just have some fun.
I don't get drunk.
Yeah, that's your problem. Yeah, well, the thing is, we do
He
know.
just likes our company. I'm staying firmly in this seat.
I think Adam's observed in previous episodes when he does take the opportunity to get drunk, someone loses control. You can only have two pissed
Yeah, it's
people.
him.
It is true. It is
if
true.
if he doesn't stay sober, he doesn't manage to keep control. And that's when it gets really
Please
awful.
go back to very early on in this episode when Adam had a pint. And
I
listen to
wasn't.
the intro.
Oh yeah, that's terrible. No, that's because it was rusty because I hadn't recorded a podcast in ages. But no, we just literally. This is episode 200. We're putting this out now. We're gonna take a little break. Come back in 2016.
Holy fuck!
Saying like that.
Jesus.
We're definitely going to come back because I want to talk about Batman, Superman, Suicide Squad.
But there might be a little thing out for Christmas.
That'd be up to you, wouldn't it, Will?
Oh, I thought you were just talking to the listeners.
Well, no.
Listeners don't ever say anything.
Okay.
But yeah, it was just like I'm just glad people still download and listen. So I'm just happy that they're still around. So we're going to take a break.
We love you guys.
As long as you enjoy.
Yeah. So I guess should you sign out then? Find us on Twitter at Barker Podcast, at Not Listening Pod. Go to the website, www.notlistening.co.uk. Listen to the other podcast there. And like, if this is the first one you've listened to, Jesus Christ, how have you got through to the end? But go back and listen to the others because they're a lot shorter. I actually got somebody online the other day I was chatting to. I said to her, have you actually listened to any of the podcasts? And she said, I don't know what a podcast is. So I quickly explained to her and I said, it's like a 10-minute show where we just talk shit and have a laugh. Listen to it. And she listened to it and she said it was very, very funny. And then she
It's
blocked
nice
me.
when people lie politely.
Yeah. So
is this person now going to... What was it called when you actually go through on the internet and find them and all that? Trawling them or
Stalking,
trolling them
stalking.
Or stalking?
Yeah.
It's
Stalking.
not quite stalking, though. It's a different one, isn't it?
You're thinking of trolling. That's when you're rude to people online, just offensively
okay.
rude.
No, you don't want to do that.
No.
That's bad.
That's what Will does. But he doesn't go on the internet. He
I
just
don't
stands on
roll.
the street
I don't need
corner.
to.
You shit! He doesn't need to. He just turns up outside the house and goes, "Nah."
That's heckling.
That's it. That's the difference. Right, okay, so any last words for this year, Ash? 200 episodes. Anything for the future?
Come on.
I can't believe we've got this far.
Will, any insightful thoughts to end this show on? 2015 gone. We're going to move into 2016. 200 episodes down. Probably relaunch. new theme tune or something. I don't know.
Adios, amigos.
All right, go.
Underlay. Arriba.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Love you all.